Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News.
This was the scene Wednesday as CP crews set up a command post 10 kilometers west of Swift Current.
Swift Current, Kindersley, and Melfort are all holding by-elections in 2018. And with only a few days remaining in the campaign, vandals are bringing a sense of discourse to the campaign trail in Swift Current. Pink Days have taken place across the country, with the Red Cross leading the initiative through community outreach presentations into the school system and the workplace. Thanks for joining us here today. CP Rail is investigating a multi-car derailment near the junction of Highway 32 and the Trans-Canada west of Swift Current. We have more in today's top story.
This was the scene Wednesday as CP crews set up a command post 10 kilometers west of Swift Current. The derailment occurred at the junction point where the main line intersects with the secondary line that goes to Leader. Emergency crews were dispatched to the scene at approximately 6 p.m. Tuesday night.
Made a plan with the CPE route last night. We brought in some slip tanks to stop the seepage of diesel that's leaking out of the cap of the downward side of the train. And CP decided to bring in all their people, all their crew that you can see here, and start cleaning up the scene. What they were going to do is push all the cars off the track and pick up the locomotive, put it back on the track and take it to Swift Current. And once that's done, they're going to start putting new track down, half a mile or better of new track, and open up the track, then clean up the mess after.
According to Chirpin, a total of 15 out of the 152 cars were derailed. Although no fire was reported, the potential danger existed as these cars were carrying potash, which when mixed with diesel fuel can create a potentially explosive fire.
There's always that possibility, so we stopped the diesel from leaking, and it was a hazmat more than anything. We got it on slip tanks right now. We're waiting for word from CP what they want to do with it.
Chirpin estimates that approximately 1,000 gallons of diesel fuel was recovered by the RM of Swift Current Fire Department. An internal investigation by CP Rail is looking into the cause of the derailment, but it's believed that a switch located at the rail line intersection was likely involved.
Floats were just leaving us. The first floats were coming back. It's awesome. Awesome. It's huge. Biggest I've ever seen.
For over 12 years, Southwest TV News has provided the visuals for the defining moments in our community. Support your community and help us to continue our work. Support our sponsors by watching the ads on YouTube and by clicking the ads on our website. Pennies per click, which will help us continue to bring you the award-winning news coverage you've come to expect from Southwest TV News. 5, 4, 3, 2. Vandalism has occurred to numerous campaign signs during this by-election in Swift Current. A warning: some of the images in this story may be offensive to some of our viewers. Swift Current, Kindersley, and Melfort are all holding by-elections in 2018. And with only a few days remaining in the campaign, vandals are bringing a sense of discourse to the campaign trail in Swift Current. Over the Family Day long weekend, several NDP signs were damaged on candidate supporters' lawns, spray painted with everything from sexual images to swastikas, which has shocked many residents.
Left my house and I noticed on my sign that somebody had vandalized it, and it was so vulgar and so disgusting. I could not believe it. And I have a 5-year-old little boy, and so he saw the sign and he's like, "Mommy, what's that?" And I didn't know what to say. I was just so absolutely disgusted. So I got a hold of Stefan's team, and they came to my house, and we called the police. And the police came and took pictures, and they asked some neighbors about if they saw anything. And I'm so disappointed because we're all supposed to be adults. You know, it's a election. We're all trying to do good for the city.
An unfortunate incident which goes against the regulations outlined in Section 189 of the Election Act. And a case which the Swift Current RCMP are now investigating, however not ready to comment on for our news story, as criminal charges may still be laid. Meanwhile, over at campaign headquarters for Stefan Rumpel, it's business as usual, as he and his team continue their outreach to the local voters.
This is a small piece of negativity that I'm not even that worried about, because overall a lot of people in the community have been coming out and have been wanting signs and wanting to get involved because they're excited for some positive change. That's one of my focuses. So that's even in this situation, trying to keep it positive. How do we move forward in a way that bridges the gap? Why are these people feeling so upset that they feel they need to do this? Let's reach out and find a way to all come to the table, work together collaboratively and positively.
And starting February 23rd, Swift Current voters can cast their ballots at advance polls at the Swift Current Mall or on Election Day on March 1st, according to locations indicated on your voter registration card. Pull out that pink shirt out of your closet and help stop bullying once and for all. We have more in this report. Being a victim of bullying is a common issue for many youth. And back in 2007, a Nova Scotia student was bullied for wearing a pink shirt to school. The following day, his fellow students took a stand and all wore pink shirts in his support, and to further send a message that bullying was not tolerated at their school. Since then, Pink Days have taken place across the country, with the Red Cross leading the initiative through community outreach presentations into the school system and the workplace. Luke Mullender is a former Saskatchewan Rough Rider and has worked as the project manager for Pink Day in Saskatchewan with the Red Cross, and explains the importance of bringing the issue of bullying to the spotlight.
Well, it's a known fact that most of the time when somebody gets involved in a bullying situation, that situation ends within 10 seconds. And that's why we talk about being someone's hero a lot, because we want people to reach out and help those who are going through a situation such as bullying. And sometimes those people really feel isolated. They feel like they don't have anybody to turn to. And we want everybody who's going through a situation like that, we want the entire province to help them out. But we want them to know that the province is helping them out, right? So we want them to understand that every time they see somebody wearing a Pink Day t-shirt, that person has their back. And that person, wants the best for them.
Mullender further adds that bullying can happen to anyone at any age. And as a victim of bullying himself as a youth, he stresses the importance of having a support system, and that standing up against bullying should be top of mind year-round, and not just for one day.
I was from New Zealand, right, and I was bullied a little bit when I was a kid. I was in a new country. I had a different accent. I didn't have the nicest clothes. But fortunately for me, I had a good team around me that got me out of that situation, right? I was able to talk to my parents. The few friends that I did have, right, I talked to them about it. And that's why the INB, and that's why Pink Day is so important, because people have resources and people have access to a team of people that can help them out and get them out of a situation. Just sometimes they don't necessarily know how to gather that team, or they don't necessarily know who to reach out to. So that's why we're encouraging those type of conversations, because I was lucky, right? It could have affected me a lot more than it did. I've seen it happen relentlessly to classmates that I've had throughout high school, and I've seen it happen in the workplace, right? So it's nice to be able to talk about something and hold conversations with people all the way through whatever stage of life they're in.
More information on Pink Day 2018 and how you can get involved in your community can be found on the Canadian Red Cross's website. Proceeds from the sale of Pink Day t-shirts will help the Canadian Red Cross with its outreach programs to youth across Saskatchewan. For over 12 years, Southwest TV News has provided the visuals for the defining moments in our community. Support your community and help us to continue our work. Support our sponsors by watching the ads on YouTube and by clicking the ads on our website. Pennies per click, which will help us continue to bring you the award-winning news coverage you've come to expect from Southwest TV News. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.